Good evening, goblins and gribblies, creatures of the night, people out there above and beyond. Thank you for joining us, the wonderful crew from Tabletop Dynasties, with some of our favorite players coming back again for our latest installment of Goblins of Zarth, the double RPR award-winning game, or franchise, as it were, that is being presented to you today. This is a brand new scenario in the Goblins of Zarth world, and we are very, very happy to be here for Melbourne International Games Week in association with ARC, Australian role-playing community online. If you haven't checked them out yet, go check them out, join the Discord, get involved. You've been playing games with us all day. It's been awesome to have you. We look forward to seeing you in the not-too-distant future at PAX. That's right, next week, October 7th, 8th, 9th. ARC will be there running a whole bunch of games. I'll be there with Tabletop Dynasties. We will have Dice Charms. We will have the hardcover release of the double award-winning Goblins of Zarth scenario from the RPO Awards. And we will be presenting Small Ship Big Dreams as an introductory version at the play area after 6 p.m. on Friday and Saturday evenings. There's a whole host of stuff going on there. We've had a whole host of stuff going on today, and boy, are we happy to top it all with this Goblins of Zarth presentation called Roots. Now, imagine a great empire conquered by goblins. Once upon a time, it was a thriving, virulent place full of orcs, elves, dwarves, and halflings, and other mystical races. But then one seed of goblin kind grew up in the middle of these races and started to forge a land, a place of its own. It grew bigger and bigger. The sensible races said, "My goodness, how can this thing survive? It's only temporary. Soon, it will collapse in on itself, be devoured by its own greed." But for some reason, this virulent weed thrived against the odds, and over time, all the sensible races were pushed back until they found themselves standing beneath the towering edifice of the Zarth Empire, and their land was so dubbed Zarth Thrul. New goblin deities rose up to dictate this society. Those goblin deities: Ting, the god of shiny things; Rolo, who holds the other end of life's pointiest stick; Goblor of consumption and abundance; Snek, the god of blessed shadows. But these gods were forever challenged by a dark past. For while those goblin deities believed that all goblins were immaculately conceived from the earth itself, there were others who held to an ancient truth that the goblin race was once all universally born from the bodily refuse of the ancient hags. This worship of the Hag Mother was seen as heresy by the new religions and forced to the bottom of the pile, shunned from all goblin society. But in time, small sects, their brains infected with calls from the dark primordial pasts, grew up within the city. It got to a point where some of those sects began to interfere with life and society as we know it. And so, something had to be done. The great Zarth called out, pointing their great pointy stick down upon the masses, and said, "Something must be done." And a young guy called in no way sinister Sam put up their hand and said, "You know what? I know that deep in the dark of the southern swamps of the verdant waste lurks the original and penultimate fortress and stronghold of the worshippers of the Hag Mother. Surely all of the worshippers in Zarth Thrul of the Hag Mother are coming from that one source. Why, great Zarth, who rules us all, surely by sending one small legion to deal with it, the problem will be solved." And so it was that the 13th Legion was sent forward, a great, towering horde of goblins, of 100 cohorts, all carrying the flying tapers, the banners, the war altars, decorated in the best of their abilities, the best, the brightest, the shiniest of goblin kind, the most ingenious goblins, the most stalwart of goblin paladins, representing the great deities of goblin kind, did set forth. For a month and a half, they trudged across the grasslands until they eventually came to the outskirts of the verdant waste, a stinking mire infested with larger than usual flying leeches, comfortable tufts of grass, slimy mudfish, and young, underdeveloped goblins, desperate to devour anything in their way, uneducated in the proper ways of goblin kind, running rampant, ready to eat any other goblin that might fall asleep on a comfortable tuft. In order to traverse this landscape, the Legion eventually set out to carve a path through the swamplands, laying down bridges, roads, pathways as they went forwards, making camp every night as they went along, sending out scout parties here and there, hither and yon, to try and locate the secret location, the stronghold of the worshippers of the Hag Mother and the other swamp goblins that lived hereabouts in the verdant waste. It was on one such morning, in the middle of this succulent environment, that Torben Rad did espy a young goblin running through the wilderness, indifferent to all the other underdeveloped goblins. It had a glowing rune emblazoned upon its shoulder. Now, Torben Rad had seen such things before, and it had been pointed out to Torben Rad by in no way Sinister Sam that such goblins were ones that had been marked by the heads of the Church of the Hag Mother, and so should be found held questioning. A chase ensued through the woods, and eventually, accompanied by Cinny Chopface and in no way Sinister Sam, 3 of our 4 companions made their way to find this young goblin, cornering it eventually by a comfortable patch of soft grass. And as they did so, a mist began to roll in through the twisted fronds that surrounded them. The path back was clear. The goblin was ahead of them, and as they bore down upon it, I will ask for a physical description. Torben Rad leads the charge on their trusty Mount Marmalade.
A physical description of what?
Yourself.
Ah, well, I am Torben Rad, and I am beautiful and pointy, and I like pointy things, and this is Marmalade. He is also beautiful, and has beautiful feathers on his little butt, and beautiful feathers on his little head, and I love him.
Trundling along behind them, a whole mess of armored skirts and accoutrements and various other bits and pieces tied to the side of their bodice, we have Cinny Chopface, played by Paul.
Cinny Chopface is a goblin that is experienced in making anything delicious. Anything, no matter how gross or delicious it starts, it ends up delicious. Maybe it was alive to start with, maybe it wasn't. In doing so, Cinny has all of the tools of their trade. They've got a giant butchery knife. They've got a fine collection of saute pans attached to their battle dress, and a glint in their eye and a slaver on their tongue.
And then, barely keeping up, but trundling along behind at a respectable pace, we have, in no way Sinister Sam, piloted by Lee. Please give a physical description.
In no way Sinister Sam is in absolutely no way sinister. They are of completely average and unremarkable height, They wear a mask covering their face from the smells of the swamp, which is in no way sinister, because the swamp has many smells, some of which are pleasant, some of which are not. It is up to the individual goblin to decide how they wish to deal with this fact, and in no way Sinister Sam wears a completely unsinister face mask. I don't see why you're making a big deal of this. In no way Sinister Sam wears an open coat and only a loincloth, because in no way Sinister Sam has nothing to hide upon their person, because they are in no way sinister.
Excellent. So, back to Catherine, who is playing Torben Red. You're moving ahead of the pack on Marmalade, your trusty steed. You're bearing down. You see ahead of you in this comfortable tuft of grass, this young goblin who bears the glowing sign upon their body, and they stop suddenly, turning around to you as you bear down upon them with your long, pointy prod, and followed up by Cinny Chopface with their Lars butchery knife, at which point I'd like to take an opportunity to pause the game and let you all know that this game may contain themes of fantasy violence and or cannibalism. So if you're worried about any of those things, please turn away right now. Meanwhile, the two of you, followed up by in no way Sinister Stam, now bear down on this goblin that appears to have stopped and tripped upon a frond on the ground. It sort of turns up like, ha, ha, ha.
Time to trample you into Marmalade! Marmalade, go! Trample attack!
Ah! All right, Marmalade travels forward. The goblin goes, and a squelch of trapped young goblin blood spatters out across the fronds, across the grass, and around you. Then...
I was supposed to leave it alive, wasn't I?
Well, thankfully for you, it is still slightly alive as it lies on the ground, still twitching. You see it look up as it looks to you. There's a sign of recognition in its eyes, and it starts laughing. And then the sound of laughing becomes augmented by the sound of screaming. A couple of explosions, some crushes and crunches far in the distance from the direction of where the Legion was camped. And then, of course, it lets out one last gurgle as Marmalade tramples it completely beyond this realm of existence.
That's how Marmalade got their name. They make marmalade out of things.
On the plus side, it's tenderized. I'll scoop it up, put it into a compartment in the back of my battle dress, and go... Now, I may be going crazy, but were there some other sounds apart from trampling just now?
Oh yeah, the sounds like... and the sounds of drums.
Yeah, like that one.
Just the normal things. Just the screaming and stuff. But, that goes away eventually.
But, according to the schedule, we're not due for screaming or drumming for another, 5 goblin hours.
You can just call them hours. You don't have to call them goblin hours, Sini.
Why do you always say that?
Because you always call them goblin... Anyway, we've discussed this.
Right. I think we should probably go back to camp.
You're right. There will be more things to trample there.
Oh, potentially.
Away! Go, Marmalade! And Torben slaps Marmalade on the rump.
Okay, you start moving quickly, but as you move quickly, you realize this mist is rolling in, and it's getting thicker and thicker as you get closer and closer to the camp. So your movement is diminished somewhat as you approach. The smell of flames and smoke starts to fill your nostril, combines with the smell of freshly turned loam, as if parts of the swamp have been dug up and thrown away. In fact, on your approach, you come across a couple of holes in the ground that appear to have been dug in or jumped out of recently, and small tracks that in no way sinister Sam you immediately recognize as the tracks of underdeveloped goblins and another type of goblin that you haven't seen before lead away from these holes, as if other goblins have been hiding in these holes waiting for an opportunity to emerge.
Oh, my kitchen!
Oh, were these here before?
No, none of this was here before. Or at least not in this particular format. Look, that was standing up straight. That wasn't on fire. Those holes, I'm pretty sure, were other holes. This is a disaster.
You should go check on your kitchen.
Yeah, I'll meet you back here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you go over to your kitchen that happens to be in this large war altar over here. And as soon as you do, you are immediately distracted by the sound of scratching. That at this point, now that you've taken a little while to travel back to the camp that seems entirely decimated, laid waste, war machines in trembles, a few bodies lie strewn here and there, but for the most part, everyone has been taken away. You see tracks going off to deeper into the swamp,
My steam
to the
oven!
south. But you hear on the top of the war altar this distinctive scribbling of pen on paper. And you catch sight of someone who is clearly aiming to make themselves visible to you, because if they weren't, they would not be visible to anyone. And that is Dewey Decimal, as piloted by Ruan Rutulu Rex. Please give a physical description.
So I'm pretty nondescript as a goblin. However, I'm wearing some nice brown and beige and grey clothes because they wash well and they're sturdy. I've got some pockets, and in multiple pockets I have pens and pencils and accoutrements for writing sticking out. I have a backpack full of scrolls, and I have a very large notepad currently in front of me that I am updating, well, forms, as the case will be, because we need to have our forms filled out. And I have some glasses because all of this writing is important. I don't need the glasses, but they're much more fashionable and they help me blend in.
Dewey, what happened? Where is everybody?
Hang on. I'm just filling out my form here. I have form for 41B, the Legion Expeditionary Fieldwork form that I need to fill out because clearly things have gone astray.
Did Dewey do this?
Scratch a little bit more and... Okay, so I was here filling out the updated form, as I was saying, and then there was this horde of underright goblins that came out, which was very surprising because they weren't meant to be here. They were not listed down on the itinerary. There was not meant to be any underright goblins here at all, and they just appeared out of the mud. And initially, it was hilarious. We were all watching it unfold. They looked so funny. They were causing havoc and mischief and, you know, the sorts of things that underright goblins do. Although I was disappointed they had not filled out paperwork to do that. And then this mist started coming up from the swamps, very slowly taking over all the different areas. And then you couldn't really see the underright goblins anymore because the mist was coming in. And then it was quite hard to see anything, which is very disappointing because I was halfway through updating my form and it was very difficult to see at that point. But then I could hear the sound of other things coming out from the mist, some sort of unknown creatures, maybe swamp goblins or aquatic goblins or something along those lines. And I was able to look in my book for references because I couldn't see because of the mist. But there were some glowing runes that marked out creatures as they came through. And then I could hear the sound of clubbing and the sound of screaming. And it was not the sound of clubbing and screaming that's much, much nicer to hear because it's the sound of clubbing and screaming that didn't sound very particularly nice at all. And then I could see the sort of faint glow, and I could see goblins either being clubbed to death, and now you can obviously see some more of them still, obviously, that you could see the bodies here, but there's not enough clubbed to death bodies here to represent the Legion. My maths is completely out, so they must have taken them away. We started with a Legion, and now we're a Legion less. We have, dozen? Oh, we're 13, no, 14, 17. Yeah, see, you can see not enough for a Legion left behind, carcasses all clubbed, and there's a trail into the swamps that I could see, but I had to document all of this first because it's very important that we capture this for the future references so that we know what our future endeavors will look like. It's, we need to have this documented out. So I thought I better do that while I wait for someone else.
Dewey, you saw them. Did the glowing rune look like this? And I will reach into my ingredient sack and pull out the underripe goblin head first, showing particularly the tattoo or the rune on between what was its eyes before they got marmaladed.
Hang on. And I turn back a few pages and I look to see where I have documented the rune, and I walk up and hold it next to the goblin tattoo that's there.
Take your time.
Hi, George. It's not exactly identical.
Not quite. Close.
However, looking over Dewey's shoulder, in no way sinister Sam, you can tell that while it may not be exactly the same, it is definitely of the same type and style. Dewey is obviously being too literal.
Well, you need to be precise with these things.
Seen this before.
Seen it?
It's one of the. It's one of their types. They have a few different types. I don't know what they all mean, but this one's from the same group.
Oh. Well, I'm going to make a note next to my drawing so that I can make sure that I have that for future reference.
Could this whole thing have been a sinister trap? They lured the crack team away using this underripe goblin and then struck when they were under no threat whatsoever.
Just like that.
Marmalade, calm down. Marmalade, please. Marmalade. Oh, Marmalade just wants blood. Sorry.
Well, it could be, but they haven't filled out a form. It's very, very disappointing.
They're not form fillers, these swamp goblins. It is very rude.
We're dealing with anarchy.
Perhaps they did. I am certainly not sinister enough to know the ways of their sinister people.
It's true.
But there are other tracks here. I would like to examine them in more detail.
This is an excellent idea. Can I just get you to fill out this form in triplicate and sign here, or shall I? I'll just start it for you. I find that sometimes it's faster if I begin it, and if you just sign here, and then we can continue with this expedition.
Sam, we are fortunate. We are so fortunate, Sam, to have our lives in your very hands, guiding us through these sinister machinations of this darn swamp.
You make your way through, at Sam's lead, through the disheveled remains of what was once the proud camp of a legion. Odds and sods, barrels scattered all around here and there, bits and pieces strewn around, rope, supplies, tools abandoned. While these people may have taken some things, they didn't take everything. Their focus was on taking the goblins. And eventually, you find evidence of such. In No Way Sinister Sam, you eventually see the footprints leading all the way to clear a path through the swamps. And while some of them may have gone off into the water, where water starts to appear, the majority of them were still on 2 feet and appeared to be either dragging or carrying the rest of the Legion's goblins and or equipment with them as they moved through these parts. You're muted.
As we go along, Sam is going to be constantly muttering, reassuring things to the rest of the group, like, yes, I see they went this way. Yes, and see where they're carrying, and oh yes, these are draggings of feet. I see where they took our legions, and just sort of pointing out all of these things as we go along.
That's helpful because I can take notes on all the things that are also missing and subtract that from what we had brought along. So I'm finding this very helpful in No Way Sinister Sam.
Torben Red will every now and then, just to be helpful, poke people to keep them awake so they don't accidentally fall asleep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
See, we're all helpful here. We're all helpful here, and absolutely nobody is sinister.
As you move through the swamps, you start to hear a sound different to the distant buzzing of larger than usual flying leeches and the croaking of the occasional mudfish. You hear instead the shrill sound of a small creature being manipulated to extract, to your ears, somewhat of a haunting and jaunty melody.
Ooh.
As you move through, and the mist is beginning to at this point dissipate, you start to see the outlines of two giant frogs in the distance. Can I please have everybody make a wisdom roll to see if they can tell what they are?
What does that mean? I don't know.
It's a 19.
Nat 20. I think this is what 20 is.
It's a
Also a nat 20.
a natural 1, just to balance out.
On the arc dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is, in fact, a natural 20 on the arc dice. So, Torben, while you seize up and you are immediately ready to deal with any threat riding to the front, to be first to the fray, you in fact realize that these frogs are devoid of any kind of movement, and they appear to be stone with large rope tied around their necks and large brass bells hanging from beneath.
I poke the bells with my pointy stick.
Bring ding, bring ding. As you do so, the playing stops, and you all see that the playing initially came from this small, swampy-smelling goblin who appears to be pulling a tune out of some kind of native grub. It stops, looks around at you. Who are you? What the? Falls off the frog. What?
Was it you producing that haunting, jaunting tune?
Yes! You want me to play more?
Yes!
More.
Okay, I will, not play more.
Hang on.
Perfect.
We need to get you to fill out this form here, but I can't really see what I'm doing because my glasses got all fogged up with this mist, but I'm not going to take them off because otherwise I will not look as professional.
Form?
And I scrabble
Can
around
I eat it?
in my backpack and pull out a 22E, which is the permission to create music form, and hand it over. Or at least I think it's a permission to create music form. I can't really see right now.
Don't take that. Don't take that. It's a trap.
They open their mouth in anticipation of receiving the form.
Glasses are still fogged up, so I just feed it straight in.
Look of delight seems to cross their face. The smell wafting out. In no way, Sinister Sam, you can tell that they are somewhat drunk, probably from a purple wine of some description. They seem a little intoxicated.
Quick, while they are malleable, ask them questions.
Say, grub playing goblin.
The numbers are inside them now.
In all of
Now they too will become admin.
In all of your grub playing, did you happen
25.
to see an army going past? Maybe some legionish sorts of numbers? Not that we're associated with them, but, just out of curiosity about what's happening in this swamp.
Give me a charisma roll, please, Cinny Chop Face.
Wink. That would be a 9.
Oh, so you're really not associated with the army that was ambushed?
Nope.
Not even remotely.
Not close. We are here. Good old swamp goblin it up.
All right, I need everyone to roll a dexterity roll for me, please.
Yay! Not 1. 7.
14.
All right, so if anyone rolled above a 12,
Yes.
15.
excellent, 15. So in no way, Sinister Sam, they are about to bolt. They're like, and
Trample.
you have Well, no way, Sinister
In-
Sam. You have the chance to grab them first.
Yes, in no way Sinister Sam is going to use in no way Sinister invisible hands because they have better reflexes and move quicker and are better for grabbing.
Okay, excellent. So you all see as the goblin starts to run away, their feet get lifted forwards off the ground as they appear to be dragged backwards by their neck as some kind of invisible grip is tightening around their throat. And you can see in no way Sinister Sam just going... They drop their grub upon the ground, and it squeaks somewhat before attempting to start to crawl away itself. Torb and Rad, what are you doing?
I mean, well, my instinct is trample. I would never wish to deprive the world of such a musician. So instead I'll say, oh no, we are with them. We're with the army. No need to be afraid. And also, in no way Sinister Sam, very good job. I approve. And I poke in no way Sinister Sam with my stick.
Yeah, thank you.
You saw through our deceptions. You tried to flee. It didn't go well for you. I don't want to trample you because you make nice music.
But we can have a reward. I pull a tasty morsel out from one of my compartment hatches in the battle dress and offer it up to the musician.
Okay, yes, you pull out what remains of the underripe goblin that you previously grabbed before. Have you seasoned it in any way, shape, or form?
I've used all of my herbs and my one spice.
Can you please give me a cooking roll, which will be your choice of wisdom, dexterity, or intelligence at advantage. You're also muted.
So that becomes a 14 on my cooking roll using dexterity.
Yes, well, they don't have a very strong willpower, so they look through it and go, why, I mean, I guess we could make a small deal over such a tasty morsel. It does look very delicious.
As he's looking
I have
at
it in
a
writing.
scattering of salt.
Sorry, did I forget to mention he's like, very delicious, as he's trying to talk through the choking.
Sorry, that one's my fault. I'll just let that. And in no way Sinister Sam is going to replace the invisible hands with one of their physical hands on the goblin's shoulder.
Okay. Yes, I mean, it does smell very delicious. I mean, what harm we're going to do? There's only 4 of you. I mean, couldn't really... Oh, yes. And takes... She's going for the tasty morsel. What is it that you wanted to know anyway? I mean, from a humble musician, very hungry, humble musician like myself.
If we were wanting to be reunited with our Legion mates, volunteer to be captured with them, for instance, where would they have gone?
They would have been taken by the ferryman. I mean, it wasn't just the ferryman who took them all, but the ferryman's probably the only one that was left. There was like hundreds of boats, barges, and such like, all assembled on the shore. Not far from here, just a little further down the track, there's a pier. I think the ferryman's probably still there, though.
Oh my god. And do you recognize this? And I rotate around the tasty morsel to show the marking. What does this mean? It's...
Oh, that. Yeah, that's, that's all. I mean, all of us have got some of those if we were from around here. It's just what we get when we're created, and if she likes us and wants us to stay and not go too far away. I've got one myself. He sort of just pulls down his sort of jacket a little bit, and you see this little growing rune of a different sort on his chest, and it's not just one. He's got a series of them along his chest in a line. He's like, the more she likes you, the more you get.
Well,
I need you just to hold that open a little bit longer so I can accurately get that down for the records.
As long as I can eat, can I have some of this?
Yes, we wouldn't deny such artfulness, proper sustenance.
I pick up the grub and give it back to him.
All right, he seems very, very into this food, this incredibly well-made spice food. It's not the substance, it's the flavors that have been added and rubbed into it, obviously from your spice kit that you brought with you.
Don't forget the tenderizing.
Just for the records, you referred to a she. Well, who's the she that you're referring to? I prefer to actually have names in my documentation.
Our great mother?
The
The hag mother.
Oh, no, Illard the Wicked.
Who?
Another
Illard the Wicked. You
Can you
haven't
spell
heard
it?
of her. No. I can't.
Can you play it in song?
Yeah. Hold on. He grabs up his ram's like, all right, so in No Way Sinister Sam, I would very much like you to make a intelligence roll.
Alrighty, I am sure that in no way Sinister Sam can do this. Intelligence.
such.
I am in no way sure that in no way Sinister Sam can do this. That is a 2.
Well, if you're knowledgeable about secret societies in any way, shape, or form, then you can have advantage on that roll.
Oh, wonderful. In that case, that is a 7.
Baby
You're
steps.
pretty sure you have some idea of what it's about. You
Hang on.
discern a few things here and there, and the name Millard the Wicked is ringing some bells.
Here, I'll get out some documentation and I'll flick through until you see something that looks familiar for you, just to jog your memory. I have got a number of tomes here.
You sort of look through. It doesn't seem to find much else. I mean, Dewey Decimal, I would like you to please make a intelligence roll as well. Thank you.
Yay, 16!
Okay, excellent. While you're not quite sure what the information you have on you accounts for, you dig deep into your backpack and you pull out a scroll that does have information on it. The information is not in a language that you understand, but you're pretty sure it might help. And in No Way Sinister Sam, when you look at it, you're like, yes, of course, this is the old tongue. Some call it the dark tongue or the unspoken language, because somebody made up an entire script for it. It never really had a script, but this is just an approximation of vowel sounds that really make up what the language is. You're familiar enough with it to pick out a few names on it, and you recognize a small roll call of known hags that still live, or at the time of its writing, this document, which let's say Dewey Decimal, this is a copy of a document that's 1,000 years old, or at least a copy of an excerpt from a document that's 1,000 years old. And that was 3 names: Kakaenga, Mitra of the Woods, and Illard the Wicked. If this goblin is speaking the truth, then whatever lies in that swamp may well be one of the great hags of old.
There it is, the Wicked. Illard the Wicked.
Torben, that would be a triumph in order to stick the pointiest stick into one of the old hags and prove that Rollo is right and is holding the other end of the pointiest stick in the right manner and pointing it and poking it as dictated.
Not to mention the hag mothers were known to collect such shiny and good things. The things that we could collect could bring back. In addition, removing their objects of power would. We should look further. We should go deeper. We should find this place of the heathen hag mothers people.
Oh,
Well,
I
getting
see.
rid
We
of
should rob them.
I'll play some traveling music for you.
yes!
Oh, thank you. We will be the Knights of Rollo. Although in No Way Sinister Sam, I get the feeling you're more of a Ting follower. That's okay. There's no need to be ashamed.
Well, look, We're all about the setting this heretical faith
Mm-hmm.
right into the dust where it belongs. But, if we happened to get rich and powerful along the way,
As long as we end up on the right side of the pointy stick.
if it happens to be a
might-
longer and shinier and wealthier and more expensive stick at the end of the day, who's to say?
Well, I do have this declaration of fiscal interest form that you will need to fill out if we do produce and procure anything over a certain amount.
It would be
Of,
disappointing to have the form and not have to use it.
It would be.
Numbers are so scary.
By and by, as you roll along through the swamps, the mist starts to dissipate into just a fine miasma that lays itself out. You go deeper, it starts to get into dusk, and the whole forest alights with the radiant, floating eminence of fireflies that seem to be just filtering throughout the wilderness, near and far. The smell of water now reaches you as you see coming out of the darkness a pier, and at the end of the pier there is a long barge upon which stands a scraggly old goblin with a long white beard, wearing what appears to be a broken cauldron for a pair of pants. Upon its head is a tabard with the same script that you saw in the book, also glowing, obviously, from a luminescent fungus, but also down his arm, you can see scrawled more of these tattoos or markings. They do appear to be more like birthmarks than tattoos, and they are glowing in the darkness. It's just sitting there, holding a snake, and every now and again, he sticks out his tongue and gets the snake to bite it, and then he giggles to himself, rolling on the decks, without a care in the world.
What a cheerful looking chap. Oh, wait, he's the ferryman. He stole the Legion.
No, he's all that's left. There were other boats, and as you look around in No Way Sinister Sam, you can in fact see the evidence of along the shore of where many other boats would have been moored. You count top of your head at least 30, 40, and that's not counting for boats that may have been lashed to other boats. But accoutrements have been left behind, boat hooks, ropes, occasional broken bits of oars, and other odds and sods lying around to indicate that a large force recently moved through here and departed across the water that spans out as far as you can see into the darkness.
All right. Well, in no way, Sinister Sam is going to go up to the ferryman to this goblin who we believe may go by the moniker of the ferryman. The other boats. Where are the other boats?
It's like, so wakes up, grabs his snake, puts it away. It tries to escape, grabs it quickly, just holds it awkwardly in the other hand. It's like, who are you? What do you want?
And in no way, Sinister Sam is going to use a minor illusion to make us look like we have glowing runes upon us of the swamp goblins.
Okay. Cool.
And is going to say, we're latecomers, we're stragglers. We must go where the other boats have gone.
Comes over. All right, I would like you to make an intelligence roll, and you do have advantage of this because you do know about these things and you have seen some script.
Advantage is 17.
Okay. It's like, oh, I do like a tasty noodle. And who's this? Tasty noodle. Jerry Butt Muffin. Really? I didn't know you knew my mother. And comes and looks at you very clearly, deeply and long, as there's a whole bunch that are just going down your nose, Dewey Decimal. He's like, yes, I can understand why anyone would never want to do their homework. Very well. So, stragglers. You better hurry. Everything's kind of underway.
We got
I was just dawdling myself. Can't you hear it? And in the distance, floating across the swamp, you can in fact hear sounds of drumming, occasional sounds of something wailing,
Is that a
laughing.
party?
Oh, it's a great feast.
Oh.
I mean, if you want to come, now is the time.
Yes. Cinny Chopface rushes into the barge and stands at the end trying to sniff about what could potentially be being cooked up at this party. Momentarily
Alright, well-
forgetting that it's probably the Legion.
I'm going to get the
Hey.
musician just to lick the bottom of the minutes to just confirm that that's what he said before I get on the boat.
Okay. And as you go over to the musician, you can see that the musician. I would like you to please give me a wisdom roll. Thank you, Dewey Decimal.
8. I'm on fire.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. Well, not to fear, because clearly Torben Rad is also paying close attention to the musician. So please also make a wisdom roll for me.
3.
Okay. Goodo. All right. So, you all decide to get on the boat. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
No,
Excellent.
no.
So you follow. Wow. You
I
follow
need
the
to
lead.
document this. If I'm not there, I can't document.
Is that snake for public kissing, or is it your own personal snake, sir?
Get your hands off my snake!
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I didn't want to cross any personal boundaries there. But I'll keep an eye out for if he loses track of the snake.
Ooh. Hey, wait. Bard, come with us.
Oh, the bard is coming with you. They're standing at the other end of the boat. Have you made any measures to stop the bard from escaping?
I mean, Torben is always right next to the bard listening to the music because it moves Torben's soul.
And he's addicted to 6.5 herbs and spice.
And also,
Um,
if you try to run, I will trample you into mud.
It's true. They have a lot to be afraid of. But you are looking at them, and as soon as you look at them, they look away from you. And you sort of look back towards the boatman, and this is just as you're pushing off. And you see that the boatman's... Give me a wisdom perception roll, please.
Is that everyone? No.
No.
Oh, no. Just...
4.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, they're just rolling along, having a good time there.
It's nice being a member of the Legion with you all.
I know.
I'll see you in the next life.
You cast away
Too busy
into the
taking
deep
notes.
darkness of the swamps. After a little while, I would like you would travel for about 10-15 minutes. The deep black water just surrounding you. Occasionally you see movements,
It's dank,
something
but a different sort of
floating beneath.
dank.
And I would like you all to please make wisdom rolls.
Come on, give me something.
20! Natural 20!
I will give Cinny Chopface advantage on this.
21.
14 with that advantage.
8.
All right. Well, look, in no way sinister, Sam, you start to get the impression that you're not going in the right direction.
All right. And I assume Dewey Decimal also notices this because I think we got very similar rolls, or...
Yes. Dewey Decimal
so-
and even Cinny Chopface with the advantage. You notice that the smells, you're not detecting any smells of cooking.
This
Point.
is... Whoa. I'm going to casually make my way to the back of the boat.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
I
I will be doing this too, yes.
Is the ferryman playing with his snake, or has it been hidden?
He's just keeping it in one hand, and then he just keeps moving around the rudder with the other hand. You're not quite sure what's propelling the boat, to be honest.
At a convenient time, I'm going to kind of keep an eye out, and then I'm going to snatch the snake out of his hands and hold a fork up to it and say, "Take us to the right place. We demand to be at this party, or the snake gets it."
All right, I'd like you to give me a dexterity roll, thank you.
Oh, 21.
Nice.
Well, on a roll of a 2, he does not very much contest the grabbing of his snake by your mailed fist. And so now, in your armored hand, you hold his tiny and delicate snake, little scared eyes looking at you like a tasty morsel. And he says, "Stop! Freddy! Give him back!"
What is this? You've been taking us away from that delicious feast. Turn this ship to where it's meant to go.
Exactly, I could detect it.
Not doing my homework? That's nothing. That's not a real name. I knew you never knew my mother. You thought you had me with your tasty noodle, but I'm not so easily deceived.
You
We're going into the darkness now. I'll eat your brains in the spawning pit. They will crawl in your ears and you'll be nothing left.
Right. Do I look like I could steer this boat using my nose as a directional thing?
I mean, you could give it a go.
Final chance. And I'll hold the snake up.
He dives at you, terribly lunging in your general direction, attempting to grab his snake back, but you deftly step out of the way and he face plants into the ground of the boat right before you, landing in front of Dewey Decimal and Torbenrad. What would either of you like to do?
I'm going to sit on him, and my backpack full of tomes is going to keep him in one place.
Donk. All right, you put your weight upon him, Torbenrad.
I'm going to turn to the bard and be like, "Now you steer the ship."
Sploosh.
That is not how I thought that would go.
That instrument's acting like a flotational device.
It really is.
Well,
it
might be trampoline time. Yes, Marmalade, I can hear you're excited.
No, don't trample me, please. Just give me back my snake and let me be alone in the darkness.
But you're taking us the wrong way. I could detect it with my smell and the sounds and the ambient temperature that was moving us to the wrong direction. You need to take us towards the feast. Or City Chop
Don't you want to be alone with me in the dark and Freddy?
No, I can't possibly write things down in the dark. It's very difficult to see.
Oh, you must be underprivileged.
But there is something in it for you. You will have your precious snake back, maybe with minimal off the side biting, just little nibbles, if you take us to the feast. Otherwise, it's into the swamp with both of you.
I'll take care, but it'll be your doom. I tell you, I'll take you to your doom. Yeah, once she's through with you, you're going to be a part of that feast or worse. He goes up to the back of the boat and takes the rudder again. You guys all settle in. Are there any other precautions that you'd like to take?
So I'm going to keep a hand on that. I'm going to keep the snake with me and idly be talking to it. So, Mr. Snake, what can we expect at this feast? Are there hors d'oeuvres? Are there aperitifs? Digestives? What sort of... are there fungus wines? Are we in for a gastronomic feast?
And in no way Sinister Sam is going to be using their ability to survive in the wilderness and track things to make sure that we are in fact going in the right direction this time.
Yes. In fact, this is reinforced by several factors. The first is that the sounds of drumming and chanting become louder as you go deeper into the swamp. You go in the direction. The second is the distinct smell of hot metal and goblin flesh cooking slowly in some kind of broth mixed with a variety of exotic swampy spices
Is that?
that can have been extracted from incredibly unknown sources.
Oh,
In fact, you can barely place half of the ingredients that have gone into this noxious brew.
oh, Rolo be damned, I need to get a sample of those.
And then, suddenly, leering above the tree line, out of the darkness, illuminated by fireflies and a host of other drawings and markings that illuminate the tree, you can see ahead this giant tree. Now, just to give you some sense of scale.
Using Pythagoras, I'm pretty sure I can calculate the distance of that and the height.
You look ahead. There are hundreds of boats just strewn around the roots of this tree. This tree is massive. It looms above the tree line. Its twisted branches rolling around. You see tunnels and holes withering, worming their way through the tree. Various abodes and little houses, growths from the vines that hang down are little polyps, which in and of themselves are small nests and houses for various goblins. Looking at this with a quick calculation Dewey Decimal, you estimate that no less than 10,000 goblins occupy this one city. For want of a better word, you would call it a city. A habitat, a fortress. It rises up, its roots strong and sturdy, projecting down into the swamp. The sound of chanting and drums and partying starts to filter down now. And the smell radiates out from the central point of the tree. High above the tree, you see a small cluster of houses. Now, they look small from a distance, but when you do your calculations, Dewey Decimal, you can tell that those small houses have doors big enough for a giant to walk through.
Ooh. These doors are big enough for a giant to walk through. This must have large goblins.
For fear of our ferryman raising the alarm, I'm going to offer him a delicious jam tart as a reward for service. The stick and the carrot is in full effect here. We give him reward for doing what we'd hoped, and the jam tart should knock his head clean off.
He's like, oh, well, maybe you guys aren't so bad after all. And he eats the jam tart.
I giggle as he takes the first bite and go, it's delicious, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the best thing I ever... As he falls off the back of the boat, well dead.
Shame.
However, the boat appears to now... It's just going in the direction. It was going in the direction of the tree. Still going in the direction of the tree. And it doesn't seem to be slowing in any way, shape, or form.
This is fine.
You see that there are hundreds of other boats just docked at the bottom of the roots around the base of the tree.
In no way, Sinister Sam is going to make a grab for the steering apparatus of the ship and attempt to stop us from completely crashing into the...
Give me a dexterity roll, please.
Okay.
In case anybody is listening, I say, oh, we've been partying too hard at this feast and shouldn't have taken a boat for a pleasure trip. We were here all
I got a
along.
14.
14?
14, yeah.
You managed to steer it. You managed to get control of it. You can get the acceleration and deceleration. Not quite sure about the left or right, but you're about to hit one of these roots, and some vines on the outskirts of the canopy are now sort of falling down in your general vicinity.
Ooh.
I'm not exactly sure on the steering here. We're probably not going to fall over. I think I can make us slow down, but everybody grab a vine just to be sure.
I put my pencil away and grab a vine and hold on for dear life.
All right, cool. Well, I need everyone, if everyone's going to jump on this vine, it is rather thick and easy to climb, but you need to jump from the boat onto it. So please can everyone make a dexterity roll?
16.
Or a strength roll, if you prefer.
20.
15.
Dirty 20.
Man,
Yeah.
right place, right time.
The athletics regimen of this legion was unmatched. Climb, climb, climb.
Yeah.
Yes, you all quickly jump onto the vine and grab on as you see the boat careen forwards, and in slow motion, just crash into 2 or 3 other boats, creating a mild commotion. There are a few people around the pier just looking like they're eager to get somewhere else, but they're tending their boats. Like, and then this bumping and clattering and crashing. But even in their behavior, they do seem to be mildly intoxicated.
Excellent.
You can also see...
Fine, I'm sure nobody noticed anything important.
Now that you're on the vine, you can start to look around and you see that in various places here and there in the tree are hung skulls and bodies and skeletons of various creatures. However, fresh bodies are now hanging in this tree as you see people that you know from the Legion strewn around here and or there.
Well, at least they seem to have a functioning legal system.
I'm going to keep mental tally marks so I can subtract it from our starting Legion numbers so that I can, be accountable when we get back for the numbers of people we've lost.
Okay, yep. You do a quick tally of the bodies hanging in the tree.
Mm.
Yeah. Just double checking we are talking about corpses as opposed to, still kicking or anything like that.
Oh, some of them are still alive.
I'm not quite dead. You untally mark.
I untally mark a tally. Maybe we should poke them with a stick as we go past just to confirm.
Okay.
Do the revelers that were on the dock waiting to take their crafts on various little drunken pleasure jaunts, were they wearing any particular distinctive clothes or robes or anything, or is it mostly those tattoos?
So there are 2 types of critters that you see hereabouts. The first one is the first type that you see is just a more conventional goblin. The ones that you're used to, they have a strange sort of dress, but there's no particular uniform way, shape, or style to how these guys are. They're, a real mix match of odds and sods. They're a little more suspicious, a little more dank, a little more swampy than the goblins that you're kind of used to seeing around Zarth, the city. But definitely there are some very distinct goblins, both the young goblins that you've already seen and also some goblins that have strange physical features appearing to be equipped for underwater excursions. Meanwhile, you are climbing, you're currently holding on to this vine, this very thick vine that hangs down from the tree. Not far up the vine, you see one of these polyps that appears to be a nest of some description, where probably 1 or more goblins live.
Okay, let's shimmy on up there and empty this polyp of its contents, and then come up with a bit of a plan of attack. Maybe get a bit filthy as we're going. Let's see what's in there.
All right. You get to about this point. And
I'm going stealth mode.
Okay.
So I'm slightly slower, but I'm much more sneaky.
Well, you could just ride on the back of somebody else. Obviously, Marmalade's climbing, and they have the capacity to carry more than just one fully armored goblin.
Yeah, but I need to be alive to document this if everyone else dies. This is important.
True. So you arrive at the pod. It is a round growth. It appears to be made almost entirely of goblin hair and then held together with mucus. The inside, however, is quite well fitted out with a plank floor, a small fireplace, a little chimney, a cooking area, and what appears to be a stash of salted mudfish lining the walls.
Is there anybody in here, or is it empty?
It appears to be completely empty.
Oh, great. Climb on up in.
Okay, you have found a good place to stand.
All right. Now, there's the cooking area. I'm going to get some of the ashes and kind of swamp dirty myself up a little bit. Maybe rubbing with a bit of the salted mudfish in order to get that good pungency going. Different from the city pungency.
That nice umami scent, yes.
It's the hidden scent.
It can be risky, though. Just be warned.
Can I just double check how long those illusions last? Do we still have our glowing fake symbols? Or
they last about an hour, but you can keep doing them.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to maintain those so that even if they're a little bit perhaps grammatically interesting, they're and yes, also going to attempt to disguise myself as an aquatic or as a swamp goblin using the objects and items around the room.
Okay, excellent. So, would one person like to direct this disguise exercise, or would everyone like to roll either a dexterity or charisma?
I think in No Way Sinister Sam might actually try to direct this, because in No Way Sinister Sam has a lot of experience at not being sinister, and is very, very good at making other people appear to not be sinister.
Because they are in no way sinister?
That is
because they are in no way
logic.
sinister.
We want to be as unobtrusive as you in No Way Sinister Sam.
Exactly.
Well,
all right.
Torben will be helping because I got a 19 on charisma, so I will be supporting.
Overseeing. All right, let's see what you get in No Way Sinister
What
Sam.
an encouraging smile.
Okay, that is 15 plus 2 is a 17.
17. All right, cool. Well, look, between the two of you, you guys managed to scrape together some, relatively good. A bit of goblin hair, a bit of mucus, some dried fish, and you basically make a rough approximation of some of the standard outfits that you've seen rolling around the port area.
Lovely.
You probably fit in mid-tier with some of these guys.
Ooh,
I try to make my backpack look more like a hunch, just so I can continue carrying my items.
Okay, and can I ask, Torben Rad, would you like to dismount Marmalade, or are you going to make Marmalade and yourself just look like one extra large goblin?
We are one extra large goblin. I would never
Excellent.
abandon Marmalade.
No, good. All right. I just wanted to be absolutely clear on that. Excellent. All right, so thusly equipped, what do you do next? You are looking around at this point of the tree.
Now, Dewey, have you got a good look at this, admittedly, very much larger than usual tree fort that these people seem to have rigged up?
Well, judging from the root factor and the size of the trunk of the tree, taking into account the spread and the shade that could be provided, I think if we continue to go up, we'll find more things.
Now, I would definitely think that we would want to spy what has happened to the Legion and maybe have a bit of a taste, maybe, on the side. But in No Way Sinister Sam, you also mentioned potential ways to hit back at this awful swamp cult by coincidentally relieving them of a great number of valuable items in no way to profit ourselves.
The more of their items we take, the less their power becomes.
Exactly.
It is not for profit, it is simply logic.
It's for Rollo, of course.
Of course,
Yes.
of course.
Well, for the
There's one thing we
legitimate
can all
gods.
agree. There's one thing we can all agree on. It's that they should not have the items anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And if we could get a few of the Legion back, that will be probably more beneficial for us in our next endeavors.
Yes.
Well, there are Legion members, some of which seem to be still alive, strung out here and there throughout the tree.
Ooh.
So as we go, perhaps we could untie them and release them and get them to join us as a...
Most of them are dead or beyond saving, but you might be able to find one if you investigate carefully.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out.
Okay.
You know, penny wise, pound foolish. If you look after the ones and twos, then eventually you'll have a whole legion. I'm not sure if that really applies here, but who knows?
Oh, you've been reading! I'm so impressed.
I'll just poke them with my pointy stick as we go past the corpses, just, to see if
Okay.
they react.
By the time you get up, there are no more on the vine that you're climbing up, and you arrive into the canopy proper. Here you see that various channels have been cut through the leaves here and there, and bridges and pathways have been laid out and or carved into the tree itself with stairs so that you can sort of get about. It does seem pretty quiet, though here and there you do spy the occasional skittering underdeveloped goblin running around. They would be the most likely to see you, but also they seem to be here and there with their communication skills. However, you do start to pass a few corpses that seem to have just thrown around here and there. I would like all of you to make a stealth / dexterity roll for me at the moment. And of course, Dewey Decimal, you can use your intelligence, because you're using administrative stealth to appear insignificant.
19.
13.
21.
Torben?
12.
Ah, excellent. All right, look, you start making your way along, and it appears that most of the community is busy with whatever's going on in the central bowels of the tree at the moment, in the heart of the city. So it's only a few people here and there. Because of your disguises, they pay you little mind. You've got occasional underdeveloped goblins still about and sort of espies you, also senses danger and quickly turns and runs away without paying you much mind.
As we're making our way through, can I smell or see any of these extremely unusual cooking spices? Or, a sample of some feast remains that I might be able to do some taste testing on?
I'd like you to give me a wisdom roll at advantage. Keen cooking
17.
senses. Well, in fact, here and there, you come across, as you're passing through the houses, you do in fact pick up the scent of some of those spices in either abandoned cookware or possibly just stored in jars on the shelf or left open on various canopies. And then there's one that you smell that appears to actually be a fungus growing on the tree itself beneath the bark.
Oh, waste not, want not. I'll take a sample of as much that I can fit in the plaited skirts of my battle dress.
Okay. As you make your way through the boughs, Torben, your irresistible desire to poke almost everything you come across eventually bears fruit. As the cry of "Ah!" ushers from an upside-down goblin suspended by their legs. Half of their armor has been stripped down. It looks like a few strips of choice meat have been taken off for consumption. But apart from that, they're mostly in one piece. Battered and broken bits of armor hang loosely from about their head. Some deep wounds are definitely seeing them dead within the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I mean, maybe they'll survive the night, but you think it's highly unlikely the way they're bleeding out. But they are conscious, and their reply and their instinct is, oh, thank you. I mean, screw you.
That's
Enemy goblin.
I'm gonna try and poke the rope or vine holding them to sever it and cut them down.
Yes, well, it takes a while,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes much like,
Now,
ow!
while
Ow!
we're waiting for you to drop to the ground,
Ow!
could you possibly
As
fill
poking
me
is
in?
not the best way to cut.
Yeah. Can I please document what happened to you? Now, we're from the Legion. I am the administrative goblin, and I would like to know what happened.
Curse my last hours spent talking numbers and facts to an administrative goblin. We should have wiped you all out during the Great Purge. For some reason, you're still around, like a parasite on the side of our great goblin species.
Torben pokes in one of the wounds.
Ah!
Is that an R with 3 H's?
Answer
Getting
Dewey's question.
That's all right. I've got the general gist. But what happened? All I saw was the mist coming in.
We didn't know what happened. We were just going about our business, laying a new round of traps when all of a sudden they burst from out the ground like they'd been preparing for the whole time. The mist rolled in first, of course. We were all doing our best to prepare for some kind of ambush, but we didn't know it was going to be that bad. We had Rolo on our side. We held the other end of life's pointiest stick, and oh, were we gonna stick them? But it was they who stuck us. I can still feel it now, their little grabby hands pulling at my ribcage, tearing off my armor like some delicious pill bug. Its stomach torn open, devoured, and then dragged away, trussed up to the back of another goblin, or hung on stakes and dragged through the swamp till they eventually hauled us up here for a snack later. The rest of them they took into the center of the tree. I don't know if I'm lucky or cursed for the pain I feel now.
Ooh, the center of the tree?
I was taking up that bough there. He indicates to a large trunk. It sort of goes down. He's sort of pointing to, his head's pointing in this general direction. He says downwards and in towards the center. And in fact, for you, it does indicate, for you, Cinny, it does indicate this is the direction the smell is coming from, somewhere around here. And also, now that you guys look in that direction, there, most of the illumination seems to be billowing out from this area. There's a high concentration of fireflies and a general ambient luminescence, which generally, for goblins, indicates a large amount of luminescent fungus paint applied to a particular area in lurid, bright colors.
This is very, very helpful. It's going to be in the annals for years to come. People will know your story and be able to avoid this happening to them.
Oh, can you help me in any way?
Have I finished poking them down?
Oh, yeah. You've also almost completely severed his leg. But that's all right. He said, collapses. Does anyone try and catch him as he hits the ground?
I'm busy
I'll
writing.
catch him and gently put him on the ground while reaching behind me for my butcher's blade.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. I'm so glad you were able to help me. Oh!
What?
I decapitate him.
He was a warrior of Rolo.
His head
And this is
falls
a
off.
fitting ending.
Mm-hmm.
We should have poked him to
He
death.
died doing what he loved.
True, the poking is more official in terms of Rolo followers.
Sorry, I am a little bit over-enthusiastic and I forget the proper methods.
Seeny.
But they didn't get all of the nice bits. Do you want one of these biceps?
Yes.
Here we go. Here's a little bit of a gun show for you. And I prepare and season a little bit of arm muscle It's chewy, but it's worthwhile.
It's like taffy.
Excellent. It's always good food for the brain.
Oh, damn it, we lost the head.
Oh,
I look over as it's plummeting down into the swamp.
we needed that brain food.
That is disappointing. But I think we have more pressing issues. Perhaps we need to find out if any more of our Legion are alive.
Yes, alive. Let's go.
All right. Would you? So you make your way down the trunk towards the center, where it appears that a large gathering is taking place. However, as you get down, you also start to espy other pathways that lead up higher into the canopy. But you come to a particular point, a rise over one of the larger boughs, and you can look down into the center, where it opens up into a large area, opening in the center of which is a vast cauldron. A cauldron big enough to boil, well, a great many goblins, and it is in fact boiling and bubbling. Lumps of fungus and juices are rising up, writhing up and down, and you can see that there are cages off to the side where more of these goblin legionaries are being held, and every now and then a group of these swamp goblins will come and grab one out of the cage and take it up a rampart and throw it in to the cauldron, atop which there are ramparts which stand various goblins stirring with giant spoons and poking down the live goblins that are thrown into the boiling broth to keep them deep in the water and to mix them with the spices. Around them, a chanting, dancing throng of goblins celebrate, chanting in the dark tongue, as you recognize in no way sinister stand, crying out the names and prayers to the hag mother and the great hags of old.
My stomach gurgles, like, loud. loud.
See if anyone notices. So yes, you can see there are these cages. There is the large open area around the cauldron, where there must be about 1,000 goblins just cavorting and dancing and drumming.
Is
it's
it
a
like
regular festival?
Have they started serving yet? Is it an ongoing hot pot, or is it still in prep?
The time does not yet seem right. They are still in preparation.
Okay, I want to put forward this plan. Let's go up and look at the artifacts and maybe get those, and then come back to the buffet. Rescue later. When it's finished and properly, delicious. Vulnerable.
So they're distracted.
Vulnerable.
They're distracted with the food. I am a little bit worried that this might be too many people to trample.
Probably, but at least we could come back with valuable knowledge about their cooking techniques and spices.
And the artifacts that we'll take.
Yeah, those two.
This does sound very similar to something I read about in Grunion's School of the Art of War.
Let's go.
Crimes. And it was very similar to this, where you use a distraction of your own people to allow you to then create more. You can get more things done.
We're very noble.
This does seem fitting.
Yeah.
So
we're going up.
You're going up.
Yeah, while they're distracted making hot pot.
So what you're saying is the 13th Legion puts the delicious into expeditionary force.
Yeah, you make your way around and you find a path that eventually leads up. You skirt the outside of the group. You're now starting to come into more frequent contact with these swamp goblins. So we will need to make sure that your disguises are still holding up. And I need you all to make another stealth roll. Now, you do have these disguises. You did roll very well with that, so you can have advantage. But
14. No, 17. Need to math.
11. Luckily, I've got that
16.
advantage.
16 with advantage.
All right. Look, there are a couple of times where Cinny's armored carapace gets like a
Clang.
bit more attention than it should, but the rest of you seem to cover it up with particularly Noe Sinister Sam. You'll throw down a few cutting remarks in Dark Tongue, and it just smooths over. Everyone seems to be in a pretty jovial mood, and at this point, in no way suspicious of intruders.
Wow, you're really
Don't
good at
mind
this
them.
dark tongue thing.
Don't mind the noise. It's just got a little overzealous looting before. You know how they can be. Well, once you get the hang of it.
If we didn't have somebody with your expert skills with us, we would have been doomed out in these swamps.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're going higher into the canopy, you start to make out some larger houses with like fancier interiors. And as you pass one of those houses on your way up, in no way Sinister Sam, you catch sight of a particular, just a flash of the corner of your eye. There is a creature that
Oh,
is inside of one of these houses. It is unique. It is distinct. It is tethered to a tie, and it is held by a rather illustrious-looking goblin. This creature is a creature you've heard of before, because you know that the swamp goblins have a precious mascot, a horny toad, which they worship dearly, and they use to lord it over as a symbol of authority, and they believe that they are the descendants of the true Hag Mother.
hold up, everybody. I've just hold up. Wait a sec.
You found something?
Yes, I think I may have found something potentially even greater than the artifacts of power. You see that goblin? You see that the one with the big headdress?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That toad.
Uh-huh.
That toad. They believe that toad is the symbol of their prowess and their greatness. If we steal that toad, that would be even better than their artifacts.
What if we
Even
ate
better.
their toad?
We can discuss that later. We'll get the toad first, and then we'll decide what to do with it.
We could get their power.
But the power doesn't exist, right? Because the
Psycho.
hack-
Yeah, but like it's power of their mind. Like they wouldn't be able to attack us because then they'd be attacking their own symbol.
I see no flaw in this logic.
No, because nope. Okay, right. So we gotta do this quiet, and then shh, everyone. So, what's the plan? Are we just gonna trample, or are we gonna try and lure the toad out and then whack as he comes?
So
Really?
this goblin is standing inside of a large open plan house with the door open at the moment, through which you saw the toad. The street around you seems to be, or the pathways around you, there's a bit of hubbub going on. You're on probably a 15-foot wide walkway that goes up or down, and there are various goblins going up and down, carrying goods and odds and sods, either for the party, or you see a few goblins heading up and carrying like baskets full of roots and berries, various fungus. One's just carrying a big basket of seething maggots, stuff like that, for one reason or other.
I have a plan. Because I am in no way sinister. We all know this about me. This is a fact about me. I am in no way sinister.
Mhm.
Yes.
I say that we can use this opportunity to create that distraction that we were talking about. If you distract, maybe if you trample some of these goblins or you create noise, I can sneak in the window and steal the toad while they are all distracted.
I am very good at getting attention, talking, and boasting.
This seems like a good
Yes.
plan. I can document it all for future reference.
I shall start boasting about something and then trample some people.
And then we will stop the distraction and just sneak away.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Or trample everyone.
Yes, I see no problem with this. This is very effective. I'm going to write down our plan with some crudely drawn maps. And just, like this. And then you're going to go here, and then you're going to trample this, and then we're going to run away.
Or, now, bear with me, because I do like a good distraction, but I could prepare a little poison to take out this guy, and then we can just walk on in and borrow the toad in a permanent method without doing so much trampling. At this time, there can be trampling later, but maybe not, now.
It's true, it is a feast, so he might be in the mood for eating. It might be part of the regulations of, what you should do at the feast.
And if he says no, then the trample.
Exactly.
Maybe we should grab some of this passing food coming past, because it'd be recognizable food from the feast, and then you can
Let me
taint it.
see some of that food going past of something that's more food and less ingredients, and go. You, come over here. Yep.
All right, cool. So there are just a bunch of various goblins just sort of walking up and down this path here and there. This is reasonably well populated, this area. And yes, in fact, you see one who's carrying a basket.
Yes.
Over
here.
Give me a just give me a roll.
Jeez, that is a natural 20.
It appears to be a basket full of slime rats, incredibly rare in this part of the world. You haven't seen them much out of the deep, dark catacombs of Zaran Thurul, to be honest.
Oh, this is almost a criminal waste.
Dripping and seething, a green drippage just pushing through the wicker of the basket and leaving a path.
Is there a little sheltered nook that I could lure this person into and just take the basket? Or do we just grab it and push him off the edge?
Let's just take it.
Or do you point it out to in no way sinister Sam, who in no way sinisterly walks up, swipes a couple, and walks away?
Ooh. That seems pretty good.
I do have a
We do have
requisition of
invisible
goods. I have a requisition of goods form if we want to do it that way, by the book,
I'm not sure if they have books.
Maybe Sinister Sam's plan.
Yeah.
Go, Sinister Sam. And if you could just get a few extra of those, oh man.
Do what I can. All right, and in no way Sinister Sam is going to attempt this purloining of the slime rats.
Oh, slime rats.
All right, you're going to sneak up and steal them with your actual hands?
No, in fact, I am going to sneak up and steal them with my invisible hands, because I can walk at a slightly larger distance, and the invisible hands are less visible than my visible hands.
All right, so you sort of trail this group of goblins up, or this one pair of goblins up here, who are just making their way up. You sort of walk a few meters behind them, and as they're sort of going, carrying the slime rats, you sort of get your feel on, and you kind of, as you start to summon these invisible hands, you actually feel that there's an inherent connection in this place. There's an inherent power here that ties you even more strongly to the source of your power than it would if you were anywhere else. And for reasons entirely unsinister. And your hands crackle with power as you sort of make them go, and you're sort of like going like this with your hands, and then you sort of grab. And give me a dexterity roll, please.
Dice, do not fail me now. 15.
All right. Yeah, that beats their passive perception, and they are holding it. So they're sort of like walking along, and this is like, and then you should like just grab a couple of slime rats, and they should just float through the air. But does anyone else notice them? You should see they don't notice them, but then there are these other goblins that are behind them, and you're standing between the two of them. So what would you like to do to kind of obscure their vision?
In order to obscure their vision. Now, I can only have one illusion up at a time. Is that correct?
Yes, but you don't. That is correct.
Okay.
You don't have one up at the moment, though, unless you're using it to disguise yourself.
I had assumed I still had the glowing runes up, but if we don't need those anymore, if we're fully disguised,
you currently are invested in them, and they are showing. It's up to you. You can make them disappear. It just depends whether or not you think that's going to be more or less obvious having the runes disappear than it would.
Torben can loudly cough. Torben is good at getting attention.
Well, are not able to talk about it. You're separated from the group here.
We've split the party.
Torben, if you want to do something, you can do whatever you want.
God damn it, where are those slime rats?
Because can't we see in Nowhere Sinister
you can see them doing it. You can see these rats like floating through the air back towards Nowhere Sinister Sam.
Yeah, I think.
And you can see those goblins that are just behind Nowhere Sinister Sam. They're paying kind of attention to a Nowhere Sinister Sam.
I think in Nowhere Sinister Sam is going to.
Torben, I think they need a bit of an accidental shove.
Torben's going to start like.
All right, so Torben, you are going up to sort of do anything. I need everybody to roll initiative for me, please.
I don't like that.
10.
I like that even worse now. I got a 1.
3.
17.
Wait, is it plus dexterity?
Yeah.
Okay, then 5.
18.
In that case, that is a 3 for me.
Okay, cool. So, as Nowhere Sinister Sam's like pulling the slime rats through the air towards them with their magical hands, the goblins behind you are like, "Oi, what's with that?" And they look at you and they're not for you. And they go to stick you with their prods. They have this wicked hooked prod. And they are going to absolutely hit you on a 21.
Yes, they are.
And they do 7 points of damage to you as they just hook you. They go and they put the hook part of the prod over your shoulder and they tear it back in a janky fashion. And I'd like you to make a dexterity roll. Try and hold your footing, please.
Yes. Do not be a 1 again. 11.
2 ones.
No, that's all right. You managed to stand. Like it's pretty slippery up here, but because there's moss and slime covering kind of everything, but you managed to hold your ground and not lose your footing. Just looking down. This is a pretty broad pathway, but if you slipped off the pathway, it's a long drop down.
I imagine there's a comical moment of the sort of Wile E. Coyote feet going in every direction for a minute before I finally regain my balance on this branch.
All right. Cine Chopface, what are you doing?
I'm going to do a barreling charge and try and knock that goblin off the edge.
Okay. Boom. Awesome. Make an attack roll for me, please.
That's a 4.
All right. Excellent. Now make a dexterity roll for me.
That's a 5. It's improving by the roll. So by the time we do this about 15 more times, we'll have got it.
All right. So you go, they see it, they hear this thing behind them and just quickly step out of the way. And you go, woof, and go right past them and you hit the edge.
Oh, the pain train has derailed.
And you are about to fall off the edge, but it is in fact Dewey Decimal's go. What would you like to do?
I'm going to grab a hold of Cine Chopface before he falls off the edge with my hands. Oddly enough, I do put a pen out in my pocket and stick out my hands. I have not a lot of strength, but let's see how we go.
You rush over very quickly. Give me a strength roll.
I'm going to use the weight of the tomes on my back to help me to ballast it.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you add your attack to your strength roll then.
3!
What did you roll on the dice?
Oh, dear.
Well, okay, well, you are firmly grasped on to Cine Chopface as
thank
they
goodness.
start careening over the edge. However, as Cine Chopface is definitely like falling right off the edge, and then we get to Dewey Decimal, you're like skittering on the slimy ground trying to stop it from happening, but you're just going with them. And now Torben,
I'm gonna grab a hold of the pain train.
Okay, awesome. So you run up.
I'm gonna grab them, but what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna use my command to tell everyone in the area, grab them, save them.
Yeah, cool. Give me a charisma roll at advantage because you're good at
19
commanding.
plus 2, so 21, or let's go with the 21.
Yeah, nice. All right, awesome. Well, give me a strength roll at advantage because you're being helped by Marmalade.
Oh, not 20.
Yes.
All right, you grab them all, but also at the same time, all of these other people in the environment are like, whoa, okay, cool. And then there are a couple of people who you didn't originally see inside of the house, the frog, who also run out listening to the commotion. And even the guy with the horny toad is coming out as well. And they're also like coming out into the road. And you got their attention now. You're obviously good at that. And they're grabbing on, and they all help, and they work together, and they pull you up. And do they notice anything suspicious? And this one goblin here sort of like pulls you all up, gets you back on the path, and is like, whoa, look at the skirt on that one.
Oh, I looted it myself just this afternoon.
You're going to drown with that armor. Hold on a second.
But they'll look fabulous.
Lucky noodle stand? What's that on your arm? Pointing to the fake tattoos that are actually hovering above your armor because you have no exposed flesh.
Well, yeah. It's must have been the corporate sponsor of whoever's armor I looted. It's a great fit. It's very lucky. I found these jam tarts inside there.
All right, give me a persuasion roll because you're trying to persuade them. So charisma, please. To eat the jam tarts, right?
Yes. Can I use my cooking because I have cooked them? They smell delicious.
True. They do smell delicious.
Oh, it was exactly the same number. That would be a 7. I found not only this delicious armor, but inside the armor I found these even more delicious looking tarts. And I hold them out to everyone as a reward for saving my life. Please.
You can keep your stinking tarts to yourself, you dirty traitor. Slaps them down out of your hand.
I give them a withering glare. This is no way to treat your fellow army goblins.
Okay, make an attack roll. Thank you.
7.
Okay. Yep. Army goblins, they are traitors! So now, standing on a frond, surrounded by potential hostiles, and the object of at least some of your desires, the delightful horny toad, I would like you once more to jump into initiative order. Please, roll dexterity.
18.
20.
13.
And 8.
We're getting
All
better
right.
at it, at least.
Excellent. So, we are going to start with Torben. Things have just hit the fan. It has been announced at large to everyone in your immediate vicinity, at least no less than 10 swamp goblins, young goblins, and whoever this mysterious behorned figure is, that you are in fact all traitory traitors. What do you do?
I'm not a traitor. And I'm going to run and try and grab the horned goblin.
The whole horned goblin or just the horny toad?
I mean, the horny toad.
All right, cool. Run down here. They do not see it. You barrel through. As you sort of run through, there are 4 goblins. Then they take attacks of opportunity against you. What's your armor class again?
It is 18.
All right. So out of those goblins, 2 of them managed to make it through your armor class. "13 points of damage gets through, scraping at the side. Now, if you want, you can take some of that on Marmalade.
No, I would never do that to Marmalade.
But you push through, carving a path through the crowd with Marmalade stamping feet. You reach down, hanging side saddle off Marmalade, and go for a grab. Now give me a dexterity roll. They see it coming, so it's contested.
2, so 16.
You beat their 13. You reach down, you grab the cord, holding on to the horny toad, and you have a lot more movement now. Which way do you go? Do you want to keep going down the tree? So just to give you an idea of where you are in the tree at the moment, you're standing kind of above and to the side of the central, to the right-hand side of where the central frond is, the central trunk is. Would you like to go out towards the edge? There are a couple of other settlements. You are currently heading in this direction, but you can either go downwards or outwards.
I mean, can I instead use my movement to just kick the goblin next to me off the edge?
You can absolutely do that. Instead of continuing to dash or try and get away, you just take an attack action. Give me an attack against them. That's not you. This is Marmalade making the attack. Same attack bonus that you have, though.
Oh, that's not great. To hit. Oh, actually, that's not bad. 12.
Unfortunately, the goblin is too deft. They dive out of the way. A look of horror passes their face. They're trying to steal a mascot!
And I'm going to hold the toad up, and I'm like, you can't touch me now! I have your toad!
Silence falls across the group. Everyone sits, looking left and right, trying to figure out what is the next move. Dewey, what do you do?
Obviously, it's a handing the frog over ceremony to the most persons with the most strength. And I'm going to shift the blame onto the horned beastie person because clearly he has given away his frog and we should take him down because he's not strong enough.
Not strong enough to hold the frog?
That's right.
All right.
Torben is the victor and the new owner of the frog and therefore should be ruling everyone.
In fact, if I may, with my knowledge of my religion, I have it. Therefore, it's mine now, which means he lost it.
Look, that's not just knowledge of religion. That's knowledge of regular goblin society. However, in your brain, in no way sinister, Stam, you are aware that cults of the Hag Mother work as anarcho-collectives who share everything equally, and everyone gets a turn holding the horny toad.
Yeah, so in no way sinister Sam is going to, in no way sinisterly,
well, hold on to that thought.
Yep.
It is not yet your turn.
Yes, sorry.
It is, in fact, Cinny Chopface's turn. Well, Dewey Decimal, they've made their announcement. They've used their action to shift the blame. So everyone has to make some resistance rolls against the blame being shifted. Oh, wow. They all universally roll less than... Jesus.
It's
Okay,
the
they'll
finders
universally
keepers.
roll less than 10.
Yes, losers weepers rule. Yeah.
So they're all in a state of abject confusion as to what to do next. It seems like the blame has successfully been shifted away from Torben, so people are not actively going to try and attack them or do anything about it this turn. However, they are slightly confused as to what to do. Cine Chopface, what is it that you do?
It's his fault. He lost it over the edge with him, and I'll boss them around.
Oh, you're
Get
gonna tell him what to do?
that horny bastard off this tree. He lost your toad. He lost our toad.
Give me a charisma roll. You can have that at advantage because you are good at bossing people around.
That was a 12.
At advantage?
At advantage, yes.
Okay. Yeah, well, look, about half the people actually respond
Damn
and
straight.
will do something in their turn, which in fact is right now. So a bunch of these goblins just go and rush up to them and start making an attempt to throw the larger goblin off the edge.
Toss him
However-
out. Toss him out.
Right, let's do this one and this
Over
one.
the edge. Over the edge. He doesn't deserve the frog.
Pick him up, grab him. Whoo!
Watch for the
He-
splash.
Makes an attack of opportunity as he goes away and tries to grab one of them, but his fingers slip out of the way. He bounces off a frond at one point of the way down. And disappears from view.
Good work, everyone. High five.
However, not all of them seem to be buying that. And in particular, this one here seems to be moving in towards you and wants to get the toad back, and this one as well. Definitely those ones that were in the hut seem to be close with the goblin who just fell, and they're going to make a move on you to try and grab this toad back off you, Torben Rad. One of them give me a contested dexterity roll, please, as they jump up to try and grab it.
I will eat the toad if they try and take it.
Okay.
So that's dexterity, so 14.
Okay. They jump up to try and take it. You go to threaten to put the toad in your mouth.
Yep.
They go and they sort of peel back from it, looking at each other. They're a little confused as to what to do.
Mm-hmm.
They love their mascot dearly. And the rest of them are also just sort of standing around, just being like, what do we do?
Go back to the
each other.
feast!
Well, in No Way Sinister Sam, it is now up to you.
And in no way, Sinister Sam is going to get a little bit closer to Torben, and then in the dark speech, the unwritten speech, say, "The toad has been handed over. Everyone return to the feast. We will do as is proper. We will the pot will be ready soon, and we can all partake and confirm that the toad has in fact been handed over and that the enemies of the Hag Mother have been vanquished." And I'm going to use my good and totally not sinister skill of being good at lying
Oh, yeah,
in order
excellent.
to
Give me a
say that.
Yep. Charisma at advantage, thank you.
21.
They appear to be confused. They definitely are going to keep talking about this, but they are adhering to all the things that you've said. They are following the directives, and people start kind of going about their business. These, in particular, these three goblins, however, are just keeping a close eye on you. The rest of them sort of move about their business, and aren't paying you much mind, but those three, regardless of what you're doing next as a group, are just sitting back and keeping a keen eye on you.
In no way, Sinister Sam is going to say, we should go up to the big house. That looks like the most official place. We should see if that's act like we're taking the toad up there. Quick, give me the toad so I can act official.
Okay.
Mm.
And I hand over the toad. Torben hands over Toad.
All right, cool. Torben hands over the toad.
Yeah.
You now have the toad. Look, they take turns handling the toad. But these 3 goblins are still following you. And you seem to recall that there were 4 of those goblins before that were in the house with the tall horned goblin who originally was handling the horny toad. And one of them seems to be absent at the moment. But you nonetheless keep making your way up towards the large bough that protrudes from the top of the canopy. And eventually, you start to see a shadow growing out from the high end of the canopy. You see the shadow, a large shape, so stepping forth from the doorway. You, in no way sinister Sam, feel a shudder go up the back of your spine. You know what this is. There's only one giant that could live in this place. And if it is anyone, it is Ilad the Wicked. If this ancient hag sees you, they will see right through you. They will know exactly who you are. And if you're lucky, you will become their ornament or a plaything. If you're unlucky, you might live as a lamp on their desk for all eternity.
In no way Sinister Sam is going to look around for in between the canopy for one of these large hanging vines. Quickly shout, "This is bad news, everybody," and then grab a vine and attempt to rappel down the tree to safety.
Excellent. I would like you to make an in no way sinister dexterity roll, please, for me. Do you have anything that's going to help you with this roll?
I have
A toad.
I do have a toad. I have a big old stick that maybe I can use to like.
That's cool. Give me a dexterity roll.
And a compounding fear.
Dexterity roll is a 15.
Oh yeah. All right. That's it. So in no way sinister stand, basically Sam is like, how's that go again? What do you say again before you immediately disappear down the entire length of the tree?
Bad news, everybody, get out of here. And is just gonna like head for the boats.
And rides the vine all the way to the bottom. So we're going to make a dismount roll at the bottom, please, Sam.
Yep.
Again, dexterity.
Oh, you know what? That's an 18.
You like manage to hold on, slow yourself down as you get towards the end, and then boom, out right into a boat that is there at the bottom. Meanwhile, the rest of you guys, these 3 goblins that have been following you now sort of like run up, look up, see the shadow of Ilad the Wicked stretching down. You don't know who this is, but looking up, you feel a sense of inherent dread just creep up. All of the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. Marmalade's feathers, a few of them start to fall out.
I'm booking it. I'm following Not So Sinister, in No Way Sinister Sam, because they have never led us wrong.
True. I mean, really, they haven't, have they?
I can fill out the abort the mission form when I get to the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right. So please, Torben Rad, dexterity roll. Do you have anything that's going to help you with this?
I hope so. Well, I mean, I do have extra limbs in the terms of trampling leggies, like Marmalade's legs.
It's true.
And they are
Marmalade is
human feet, so...
Yeah, they can grab onto things. So I'll give you advantage from Marmalade.
Ooh. Excellent. Oh, good thing. Nat 20 on the second one.
Look, you've done this before. The hero thing is your jam. And absolutely, you would never want to be on the other end of life's pointiest stick. That's for other people. So you happily abandon the rest of your friends as you go woo,
They'll join me.
all the way to the bottom of the jar. Woo, and make a perfect dismount into the same barge as your friends. So that leaves the two of you.
Utilizing their common sense, Cine is going to realize that they have been somewhat abandoned and that this treasure-filled thing is not exactly a treasure-filled thing. And I'm going to barrel on through the others to an exit point, which is here and here.
Okay, excellent. So you immediately hoist up your skirt long enough to get your little legs running at maximum power and start playing bowling pins with these goblins here. Please give me an attack roll.
That would be an 18. I at least barrel through them pretty well.
A 3, a 6, and a 9 are not going to save them very much as they comically explode off the path out of your way, and they were the only ones who were actually following you, keeping a keen eye and aware of your situation. So, Dewey Decimal.
While that's going on, I'm going to use my administrative stealth to just blend into the background. And knowing that I probably won't be able to go down those vines quite as well as everyone else, I'm going to slowly make my way down to the bottom of the tree. And even if their boat's gone, I figure I should be able to slide onto someone else's boat and just wait sort of until another one leaves and then slink away.
It's going to go something like this. You guys, at the bottom of the barrel, in no way Sinister Sam and Torb and Rad, you're on a boat.
I'm going to wait.
You managed to... You're going to wait?
Yeah, with my arms up to catch them when they come down the vine.
They are not coming down the vine.
Oh.
You hear chanting, slurping, eating, the consumption of delicious hot pot.
Oh, is that hot pot ready? Oh, shoot.
Cries echoing out.
I want some hot pot.
The mascot having been stolen. Mobilization of footprints.
Okay, maybe they're not coming down the vine. Maybe we should leave.
They're going to the other side of the tree. I'll go around in the boat. You go around on the tree. I don't know which is faster, so if we cover both options, we'll get there.
Good thinking.
You start to go out, and you notice...
Yeah. So, just to be clear, in no way Sinister Sam's plot is for Torben to get out of the boat and go across the roots, because I don't know which is faster. I don't know how well I'm going to pilot this boat. We'd better take both routes just to be safe.
Okay, you start to leave. So I need one of you, Torben or No Way Sinister Sam, to please roll a 6-sided dice, and I would like Cine Chopface to also roll a 6-sided dice.
2.
3.
Well, that's not actually too bad. Your actions are kind of in sync with each other. Not perfectly in sync, however, but you do see Cine Chopface as you start to round this bend in the tree here. You've knocked various goblins here and there. You've picked up a lot of speed.
I am carrying a bowl of hot pot and eating it hurriedly as I go.
That you have grabbed along the way
quick
as
energy
you're going
to
down.
help me escape.
You're barreling down. Various people have moved out of the way here and there. And as the boat moves, and you feel a sense of urgency because you start to see aquatic goblins just diving from the upper parts of the tree into the water. It appears the word has gone around and they are ready, they are aware of your boat. You have dawdled, waiting for people to come down. Are you going to try and meet up with Cine, or are you going to let them fend for themselves and try and make a leap of faith onto this boat?
Torben and Cine are friends.
We are friends, but we're also goblins.
So I think I'm going to try and jump in the boat, but then hold out my pointy stick, which is super long, and hold it out for Cine to try and grab.
Okay, so Cine, do you have anything that might help you with this amazing roll?
The jumping, I've just got Marmalade to help me. I also have hopes and prayers.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, would you like to make a hopes and prayers roll? That's a D100, please.
Give me.
So I believe there is a 30% chance, because you are a strict adherent of Rolo, that your hopes and prayers will be answered.
9 or 6? Hang on, there's no dot.
Is it 0, 6, or 09?
It's 60, I think.
60?
Yeah.
Is it? So you should have rolled one double-digit dice and one single-digit dice.
My bad. 65.
Okay. Well, that is definitely above 30%. So, it's now entirely up to you without the aid of any kind of religious faculty. Cinny Chopface, a dexterity roll or athletics. You can roll strength or dexterity on this one.
Well, I'm just going to be doing my best with all of the energy of whatever parts of the Legion I have just consumed. And hopefully this pointy stick that is poking towards me is poking in friendship, not in malice. I rolled an 18 on my athletics jumping roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, the acceleration that you've gained, plus the infused deliciousness of this spicy hot pot that's going through your senses, making everything tingle, is giving you the propulsion that you need to go forth from the front and land in the boat on a leap. However, you are head to toe full plate mail.
Catch me!
So please, Torben, can you make a strength roll for me?
Plus 17.
And in No Way Sinister Sam, can you please make a dexterity roll to stop the boat from capsizing?
Uh-huh.
I have to drop my pointy stick to catch. And I'm just like, okay.
How's a 9 do?
I mean, not great.
We're saved!
So what happens is you cannonball onto the ship, hitting Torben, who tends to soften your throw, but unfortunately Torben is also wearing full plate armor. So the impact turns into a twisted mess of steel and cutting blades that then smash into the ship. A crack opens up in the hull. Marmalade takes 12 points of damage.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't help but feel partially responsible for this.
And the boat lists and starts to sink. A view which is taken in by Dewey Decimal, slowly moving inch by inch, by step, using their administrative stealth. The kind of stealth that makes administrative goblins survive against the odds, because they become all but invisible due to their apparent insignificance. Their need to survive over years of persecution, eking out a living, an existence, taking numbers and statistics in goblin society when all of the other rulers would despotically push them to the side. They alone recognized the need that the goblin society had for them to survive. So as the boat sinks to the bottom of the mire, and Torben and in No Way Sinister Sam and Chisini Chopface get slowly torn apart by aquatic goblins, as they sink to the bottom, Dewey Decimal enters one last record on their behalf into the annals of goblin history, and over the next 6 months bravely makes their way one step at a time, moving at half speed, perpetually in administrative stealth, back to Zaran Thurul, where they report on all that they have seen. Thank you so much for playing Goblins of Zarth Roots, the first game in a series of a few. We will be running this game Again, in the future, if you want to get to the end of October and early November, jump on the ARC Discord. There will be some continuations and standalone versions of this game playing as a part of the Goblins of Zarth standalone event, possibly a few more live streams. Come along, get involved. Thank you so much for being involved in Melbourne International Games Week. We've had a blast. Everyone's had an awesome time. Thank you, Catherine, as Torben Rad. Thank you to Dewey Decimal, played by Rand through the Rex. Thank you so much. In no way, Sinister Sam, as represented the last couple of hours by Bella Lee. And thank you so much, Paul, for jumping in as Cine Chopface. My commiserations to your certain death. But let me assure you that it's just one small step for goblin kind to once more assure absolute dominance. We will see you at PAX. I'd like to give a special shout out to Arkenforge, whose software we were using to facilitate all of these things. Thank you to Cephalopede for all the amazing images. We will see you very soon.
Yeah.